everyone, welcome. This is a video series on AI governance brought to you by Harbinger Group and Disseqt. I am Shrikant Pattathil and I'll be hosting this conversation. Over these series, we are digging into real challenges companies are facing as they deploy and scale AI agents. Hopefully, by the end of it, you will have a much clearer sense of what AI governance actually means and how to get started. Joining me is Apoorva Kumar, founder and CEO of Disseqt. Apoorva has spent over a decade in AI and ML, and with Disseqt, he's going after the AI governance problem at scale, helping teams building and deploying AI agents stay focused on their actual business use case instead of getting bogged down by governance, which can get expensive and time consuming fast if you don't get it right early. Apoorva, before we dive in June, you were in France where there was a meeting of all the startups, and you had an opportunity to interact with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Can you please share that experience with us?
First of all, Shrikant, thank you so much to you and to Harbinger Group for having me here. And yes, indeed, it was a great experience in June when I participated at the Bharat Innovates, where the inauguration was done by PM Modi as well as President Macron. And there was a huge emphasis on cutting edge technologies like space tech as well as biotechnology and of course, agentic AI. And apart from that, there was a huge amount of discussion which happened on collaboration between EU as well as India to jointly collaborate. And if you see, there's so much of agentic AI stuff which is happening between the two nations at this point in time. And at the same time, AI governance and agentic AI, they go hand in hand, right? Especially with EU AI Act getting enforced, there was a lot of talks around the importance of governance and deploying agentic POCs into production. At the same time, I got an opportunity to interact with some of the industry stalwarts like Sri Narayan Murthy ji, Chris Krupala Krishnan ji, some of India's top VCs as well as startups. In fact, the scene that I saw over there in terms of cutting technologies like AI was just mind-boggling.
All right, let's get into it. Today we are talking about responsible AI adoption. A Fortune 500 insurer rolled out a Gen AI pilot that looked flawless in the boardroom. In the field, it couldn't hold context on the real claim, while employees quietly use their own personal AI tools to actually get the work done. So, Apoorva, the challenge is that you're giving tools for employees to use, but if it doesn't work, they're suddenly going back to AI applications and then solving the problem, right? And the studies show that 95% of the applications that are deployed, they don't see the real value. What do you think is going on here?
Yeah. So the 95% number doesn't shock me at all. As per the MIT NANDA report, only 5% agentic POCs have actually made it into production, right? So teams, they are building sleek demos. It hits a real case with messy history and it falls apart. So employees quietly switch to ChatGPT and they switch to their manual way of working. That's not a training problem. It's an accountability problem. Because nobody is testing it, whether the pilot holds up under real load, and nobody can prove it to a regulator or a board. You can't bold trust on after the fact. That's the whole discipline of AI assurance. Test and detect, protect and enforce, prove and comply. Built in from day one rather than as an afterthought.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. So, Apoorva, what does responsible AI adoption actually look like? We all talk about it in slides and PowerPoints, but in real life, what's your experience?
So responsible AI adoption isn't a slide, it's a habit. And most companies skip it because habits are boring. It means knowing what data leaves your perimeter before a model touches a customer record, testing for bias before it's deciding someone's claim or credit, and treating every output as a first draft, not a verdict. Skip that and go straight to scale and it catches up with you. S&P Global found 42% of companies scrapped their AI initiatives in 2025, up from 17% the previous year. That's not a model problem, it's a groundwork problem. So, responsible AI, Shrikant, its adoption is not just doing that work on purpose before you scale.
That makes a lot of sense, of course. So adoption is step one. But what happens when it actually works, when the whole company wants it? We feel that that's where it gets, when you try to go to that scale, it gets dangerous. And what are your thoughts on that, Apoorva?
Yeah, actually, that's the moment I worry more, not less. Success is what kills governance. Everyone wants their own version, and you go from one use case you can watch closely to 50 you can't. One team gets it working in claim processing, then in HR wants it in procurement. Three regional offices want their own flavor, different data, different exposure, none of it certainly visible. That's shadow sprawl with a success story attached. Harder to rein in because leadership's cheering it on. The biggest mistake isn't failing to adopt AI. It's succeeding at adoption without ever building the muscle to govern it at scale.
Wow. I think that's an interesting perspective on how to scale things. Okay, that's a wrap for episode one. We'll be coming up and talking about the governance challenges when it comes to AI scaling in the next part.